In this video, we're talking about thyroid dysfunction. Thyroid disease is one of the most poorly managed conditions in all of healthcare. Why? Well, you go in with the classic symptoms, checking all the boxes: weight loss resistance, constipation, hair thinning, brain fog, fatigue, difficulty getting up in the morning, brittle nails, you're cold all the time, anxiety, maybe some depression, lack of motivation. You're checking all the boxes, and what do most medical doctors do for you? They give you medication, a chemical cover-up, synthetic hormones, and come back in 6 weeks and we'll check you again. So in this video, we're going to walk you through the main reasons why thyroid is so poorly mismanaged and what you can do to solve this puzzle once and for all. We're going to show you the path, the blueprint, and what we've been using for almost 30 years to get amazing results with people suffering from thyroid disease. But first, who is Dr. Longquist? Dr. Longquist has been in primary practice for 30 years. He's a certified functional medicine doctor and holds certifications as a detox and toxicity specialist and wellness practitioner. He's consulted with thousands of patients in the past 3 decades, and many of them are thyroid patients. These patients have used Dr. Longquist's protocols with amazing success, so thyroid is one of Dr. Longquist's passions because it's so poorly managed. So here's reason number 1 why thyroid is a mess right now in this country. 9 times out of 10, this isn't even a problem with your thyroid. It's a problem with your immune system. It's called Hashimoto's. It's an autoimmune thyroid, so it's your immune system that's attacking your thyroid. There's nothing wrong with your thyroid, the problem is your immune system. So that's problem number 1. 10% of the time, yeah, you actually do have a thyroid problem, but 90% of the time, you have an autoimmune issue. However, the medical doctor's treatment plan doesn't change regardless of which one it is. So here's a key bullet point. There are thyroid antibodies, and a medical doctor probably isn't going to test for them because their treatment plan just doesn't change. Their treatment plan is synthetic hormones. They neglect the immune system. So if you go to the medical doctor with a thyroid problem, you have a 10% chance of success. But you have a 90% chance of failure because they're not addressing the immune system, and that just doesn't make sense. Checking for these thyroid biomarkers is a simple test. Dr. Longquist can run the test, he gets the results back in a couple of days, and that's going to tell you which path to go down. Do I need to fix my thyroid? Do I have a thyroid issue? Or do I need to go down the immune system path and fix the immune system, which he can do through food testing, taking the stress off the immune system. And we have to address gut function because most of your immune system is in your gut. So it's simple. Test and figure out, is it this path or that path? Another reason why it's so poorly managed is because doctors look at TSH. However, medical doctors have broad reference ranges. As a functional medicine doctor, Dr. Longquist has optimal ranges. Here's what we mean by that. So a medical doctor is going to see your standard reference ranges for TSH. In this case, 0.45 to 5.5. So if you go in and you're a 5.5, a medical doctor is going to say you're normal, but Dr. Longquist is going to call you dysfunctional. Functional medicine doctors want tight optimal ranges, not these broad ranges. So you could be in the dysfunctional range, not quite the disease range, and a medical doctor will say you're normal and that it's all in your head, or take an antidepressant, come back in 6 months, and we'll look at you again. They're waiting for you to get into the disease state of these reference ranges. That's another reason why it's so poorly managed, because the ranges are so broad. Here's the game changer. In order to get well, you have to fix the cell. You have to fix things at the cellular level because your cells make up your tissues. Your tissues make up your organs. So if your cells are damaged, if they're diseased, if they're dysfunctional, if they're broken, over time you build yourself sick. And why we get such a great result is because we fix the cell, but most medical doctors neglect and ignore this. Here's what a healthy cell looks like. These finger-like projections are called receptors. It's how your cells communicate. It's how your hormones bind to get the job done. You want the good stuff to get into the cell and the bad stuff to get out of the cell, so there has to be this flow. So with dysfunction, there's inflammation. The cells are beginning to become inflamed. The red part is the inflammation. So if you'll notice, the receptors, they're damaged. They're blunted, they're broken, and there are fewer of them. Then there's disease. And that cell, because of inflammation, and the receptors are so damaged and broken, and there's so few of them, we cannot get T3 into the cell. And we have to get T3 into the cell. T3 is the active thyroid hormone. It's the active thyroid hormone that we need to get into the cell, but because inflammation is jamming it up, it can't get in there. So what do medical doctors do for it? They give you a synthetic T4. But you need nutrients to convert T4 to T3. But since so many people are nutrient deficient, that doesn't allow for that conversion. When there are no receptors and the cell is damaged and broken, the doctors just ramp up your medication. The good news is that your body is always changing, healing, adapting, and regenerating. So the goal is to push you back in a more optimal direction. You have to have the correct framework, the blueprint, the map. You have to have a doctor that addresses foods, nutrients, toxins, bad fats, sugar, hidden sugar, inflammation, gut health, heavy metals. You have to look at the big picture, not just take this medication and come back later. If you're watching this video, we're assuming you want to get this thing fixed and address the underlying cause. Hopefully, you want to get this puzzle solved so you're not on this medication roller coaster and you're not feeling like garbage forever. Patients who come into our office who are taking synthetic hormones are coming in and still feeling sick. They're still checking all the boxes for symptoms because the root cause was never addressed, which is the immune system. And we have to look at the inflammation and things driving up inflammation and damaging the cells. So your next step, if you want help, if you want us to come alongside you and give you this map and framework, we want to offer you a free discovery call, a thyroid discovery call. It's 100% free, no obligation. It's not a pushy sales call. It's simply a chance for Dr. Lundquist to ask you questions. What have you tried? What's working? What's not working? What medications are you taking? And then you can ask Dr. Lundquist questions, and together see if it would make sense for you to go through the protocol. A couple of rules before you call. Number 1 is to show up. Dr. Lundquist has a lot of people who watch these videos and has a very busy practice. So if you carve 20 to 30 minutes out of his schedule, we ask that you do the same. We only work with people who are a 9 out of 10 on wanting to fix this problem once and for all. So if you're looking for a quick fix, don't book a call because it doesn't exist. We will give you the framework, but we can't do the work for you. But we will put you on the right path to get this thing fixed for good. Show up and be motivated, and we'll make it happen. So click the button to schedule. We're virtual, so everything we do is over the phone, and we'll send everything to you. It doesn't matter where you live, we can help.